Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Fit Purchase 99 and says, am I the arsehole for refusing to split half of the check for dinner with my best friend like we usually do? My best friend Vanessa, 24 female, and I, 25 female, have been friends since the second grade. We've been supportive of each other's successes and accomplishments, and we're always there when one of us needed the other. We've also always split the check when we go out for dinner or brunch or anything like that. We've agreed to do that for a long time, plus it saves time and doesn't complicate things for us and the servers, and it didn't matter how much one of us ordered. She was the one who suggested it, and I was like, okay, sure. I'm not really a big eater, so whenever we go out I would only order about 15 to 35% of the entire price for both. Vanessa on the other hand always had a huge appetite and would order 65 to 85%. The percentages depend on the occasion, appetite, and the price of the food. Recently Vanessa got a huge promotion at her job for which she has been working her ass off, and she wanted to celebrate. So she suggested that we go out to this fine dining restaurant nearby, and I agreed because she deserved it. But before I continue, I should add that a few weeks prior, my older sister Bianca told me how ridiculous it was that I was splitting the check by paying half of it, when I would only order food that amounted to only a quarter of the check. So before Vanessa and I ordered our food, I told her that I want to only pay for the food that I will order. She said, okay. When she saw that I was actually paying for my own food, she was like, wait, you were being serious before? Yes, I was being serious. And she said, oh, I wouldn't have ordered so much if I knew you were being serious. The total bill was around $560. What? And I only ordered around $145 worth of food. I asked her why she wouldn't think I was being serious, and she said that it's because we've been splitting the check in half for so long that she literally thought that I was joking. I told her that I'm just sick and tired of paying for half when I only order a small percentage. Like I'm paying at least $50 to $100 more than I should every time. She became a bit mad and said, and you decided to just be a bitch and pull this stunt on the day when I got promoted. Fine then, I will pay for my food. And she did, and just exited right after without even waiting for me. Which was not cool because she had picked me up at my place and drove us here, so I had to call an Uber and pay $36 for the ride home. This morning my phone is full of messages from my other friends saying that I was an asshole for demanding this on the day of a big promotion and for being a cheapskate. I just don't want to overpay so much. It's fine if it's $10 to $20 more than what I ordered, but over $50? That amount can go towards necessities and bills. So, am I the arsehole? Edit, I earn about $90k a year, minus or plus because I have several jobs, which includes dog training for which I charge $80 to $100 an hour for. Vanessa earned a little bit more with one stable job, and since her promotion she now earns 6 figures. Someone asks about the whole money thing. They said not the arsehole, however I am curious about how 2 people eating dinner costs $560. It has like 9 to 10 times the cost of dinners for 2 in my area. Opie says she took us to a trending spot that I've never been to before, and the prices there were high, but I was still able to have an excellent meal for around $145. So if she ordered the same amount, then the total bill would have been $300 something. Now, obviously it's going to be a not the arsehole from me for the simple fact that she confirms she was using you to order her food, where she said, oh, I wouldn't have ordered so much if I knew you were being serious. Who says that? But Dash has a little bit of a different opinion on the matter and says, gonna go a little bit against the grain here and give and everyone sucks here. People saying she's been taken advantage, yada yada, etc. aren't wrong. But if this is a person you really care about, then there was a more tactful way to have this conversation, rather than springing on her in the middle of a meal, which was a celebration. If it was any other meal, okay, fine, but she got a big promotion and the idea was to celebrate. Beyond that, you're eating out at places where a meal for 2 can easily total in excess of $600, so obviously neither one of you is hurting for cash. If it were an instance of you going to Applebee's to split a $75 bill and covering her half was running you thin financially, then I'd be on the not the arsehole bandwagon. But you very obviously would have been within your means to cover her for one more celebratory meal, and then you could have brought it up with her at a better time. preferably not right before/during a meal. So again, yes, she has been taken advantage, and yes, she sucks for that, but you also could have been a lot more tactful in how you approach bringing that up. So, everyone sucks here. Massive action, says Not the Arsehole. The day of her big promotion, I would expect her to treat you to dinner, not asking you to pay for things you didn't order. But even if she didn't want to treat you, she should definitely not expect an equal split. I also really don't get the friend's reaction. Does she do this with them too? Also, I genuinely want to ask, are $400 to $500 spent for a one-person meal a normal amount of money where you are from? Sensitive exit, says Not the Arsehole. If you still have any doubts, go back and read this line where she said, "Oh, and I wouldn't have ordered so much if I knew you were being serious." Then says, "Your food was 26% of the bill. Her food was 74% of the bill, yet she still expected to pay 50-50, and she ordered tons of expensive food based on the assumption you would pay. This has nothing to do with a promotion. I would seriously reconsider my friendship with this person." Natural garbage, says Not the Arsehole. The fact that she flat out said that she would have ordered less if she knew you weren't subsidizing her meal. She's been doing this on purpose for a long time. She knew full well what she was doing and did it without guilt or a second thought. You flat out told her that you weren't going to subsidize her anymore, and she just assumed you'd keep doing it because she's so used to taking advantage of you that she didn't even consider that you'd stop it. You mentioned she earns more, and you don't understand why she would do this. I earn more than my friends. I often go way over the top when we go out to eat, and you know what happens? I pay more than my share to make sure no one has to pay for me. She doesn't sound like a friend. She sounds like a user. And one final comment from Wandering Aimlessly, who says, "Your friend was scamming you all along. She knew what she was doing. She was using you to cover the things she wanted, not limiting her amount to what she could afford. By going out with you and you spending on average 20% but paying for 50%, she's making out like a bandit. Before ordering, you gave your parameters of the dinner. She agreed. When you didn't pay 50%, she threw a fit. You just laid a boundary. You just saved yourself a shit ton of money. She isn't going to be your friend anymore because she can't continue using you." Not the Arsehole. So OP does update the post and says, "Firstly, thank you for all the advice and understanding from my first post, which can be found on my profile. But to quickly recap, Vanessa, my best friend, and I have agreed to always split the check in half, no matter how much we ordered. She recently got promoted and took us to a trending spot, which I've never gone to before. The check ended up being a $560 total, out of which I only ordered around $145. This has always been the ratio in almost every dinner, brunch, or lunch, because she not only has a bigger appetite, she will also sometimes order the most expensive items while I have a smaller appetite. Before we ordered, I had told her that I'd be paying for my own food only, to which she said okay. But after we had eaten, and she saw that I was actually paying for my food only, she said she thought I was joking about paying for my own food only, and said she wouldn't have ordered so much if she knew I was being serious. Ended up with her saying, "Fine then, I'll pay for my own food," and then she left without me. I felt like I was an asshole for doing that on her promotion day instead of having a conversation about it sometime before. But honestly, I never had a chance to bring it up, and after my sister had mentioned that I shouldn't be paying half when our orders were so unbalanced, I couldn't continue to do it anymore. Anyway, Vanessa has apologized for being mad and abandoning me at the restaurant because of the fight that we had, knowing that she had picked me up since my car was being fixed and I had to Uber home. I told her that since she had the promotion, she had to treat me to dinner and pay for the both of us like other friends do, to which she agreed and said that in order to make up for it, she would take me out to dinner and pay for the entire meal, which she did last night, and she stayed true to her word and even told me that I can order whatever I want no matter the price. We also had a long conversation about future dinners and stuff, and we agreed to pay for our own food and get separate checks unless either of us wants to pay for the entire dinner in the case of a promotion, celebration, or etc. I also want to address the male comments claiming that she's fat and we eat too much as women. First, we're both very fit and strong. I'm 5'7" and she's 5'9". Second, the $560 was because it was an expensive place. So if you think we ate too much, then you've never taken a girl out to a fine dining restaurant. Anyway, the conclusion is we resolved the problem and I greatly appreciate all the good advice and comments. Someone said to OP, "Okay, but is those so-called friends that came at you have apologized already? That shouldn't have even happened to begin with." Well, this is a great update. My first reaction is act like that need to be cautious with, especially running to other friends to make you out to be the bad person. Don't be all too rainbows and sunshines yet. OP says, yes, they actually have because they only heard one side of the story. And even though I agree, the way she reacted was not the way she should have, I do believe that she deserves a second chance, considering we've been through a lot together and supported one another all these 15 plus years. I gotta admit, after that one, I'm not sure how I felt at the end of it. I felt pretty exhausted, to be quite honest. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's have another story, shall we? And our next story does have an update as well, titled, "Realize the man I'm currently with is cheating on his fiancée." I'm currently lying next to a sleeping man in my hotel room, a surgeon I met a few weeks ago, and I just figured out that he's engaged, getting married in 2 weeks, and didn't tell me. No mention of a fiancée at all. In fact, he told me a few hours ago that he was going to visit family on the East Coast in 2 weeks. No mention of a wedding in Cancun in 13 days. He's been using a fake name with me. I had suspected this for a while, but I saw his real name on his Tesla screen when we drove to dinner earlier in the evening. It's an unusual name, similar to the one he gave me, so it wasn't hard to find him online. I searched his real name while in the bathroom about an hour ago, while he was asleep, and besides finding his LinkedIn and other social media, I found his wedding registry and wedding page. Should I tell his fiancée? I found her on Instagram and LinkedIn. To complicate things, we live about 2 hours away, and I offered to visit him one day this weekend, and said I would meet with clients in the area to make it a work trip, to justify the cost of the hotel, etc. He offered to pay for the hotel, and initially I said it wasn't necessary, as I make good money during my business trips, but frankly, I've had some cancellations this weekend and won't make quite enough to cover the 2 days at this relatively nice hotel. He spent over $100 on dinner for us, but I kinda want to take him up paying for the part of the hotel. Just the one night he was here. Is that bad to do if I'm considering telling his fiancée later after we part ways? I feel sick to my stomach about the whole thing. I've been up all night, unable to sleep. My plan is pretend like nothing is wrong until we check out together. He made it clear he wants to check out of the hotel with me, most likely so he can pay. Text him after we've left and tell him what I know. Message his fiancée on Instagram from a throwaway account, and screenshots of his field profile, and of course never see him again. Does this make sense? I don't want to confront him in person because I don't know what he's capable of. Edit. This is getting even weirder. I looked up his Instagram and his fiancée is following him, but he's not following her, and the default pic is of her at a bachelorette party, posing with the words, "bride to be." I'm going to start in the comments with Stephen Ape, who says many people will advise you not to tell her without any very specific reason why that would be a bad idea. I think in practice, she'll probably not thank you for the information, however irrational that may be. But I personally think that it is immoral not to inform a person of a danger they are in, and so you should absolutely tell her, provided that you feel safe to do so. Nothing One says, "I'd skip telling him what you know. That only gives him time to create a story to tell his fiancée about you, and try to take control of the narrative. Go straight to her." Flip the Popcorn says, "I believe you must tell his fiancée no matter what. She has the right to know what the hell she's getting into. If she is aware of it, great. If not, great. Now she knows and she can decide what is best for her. Just don't understand while lying to both of you. Such douchey behavior. Good luck." And the comments pretty much just continued like that, tell the fiancé only if it's safe for you, etc. But OP did update the post a couple of times and says, "I told him I needed to go home early, and he asked if he could take a shower before we left, and I said that was fine. I tried to be cordial, but I'm sure my icy eyes gave me away. He seemed to get progressively more uncomfortable the longer we interacted. We walked down to the lobby together, and then after offering to pay for my valet expenses, to which I said he didn't need to worry about that, he then said, 'See you later,' kissed me on the cheek, and went to get in his car from valet. He then came back in once he found out that his valet was charged to my card and assured me he would pay me for that. I asked him if he has a Venmo, and he said he did, so I said I'd send him my username. This is not my real name, and then he left. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get reimbursed for any of the hotel or even his valet expense. I've made a fake Instagram account and will message his fiancée soon." Update 2. She was not consenting to this or aware of it. She handled it so gracefully. Thanked me and told me I was a good person. I'm heartbroken for her and pretty fucking pissed at him. She and I actually had a pretty long conversation after she confronted him. Apparently he told her this was his version of a bachelor party. She kicked him out of the house. I encouraged her to dump his ass, reminding her of her worth. And it seemed like she might be moving in that direction, thank God. We actually seem to get along so well that I kind of wish we could be friends, lol. And just for shits and giggles, I decided to get some closure / reclaim my power by sending him a Venmo request for his portion of the valet. The funny thing is that last night at dinner, I had made a joke about him needing to repent. It's a long story, without having any idea he was actually cheating on his fiancée. So my Venmo request said, "Yes, I was right about you needing to repent. Paying for the valet would have been a step in the right direction, but you've got a fucking long way to go. Have fun in Cancun." And he eventually completed the request. I really didn't expect him to. So now I'm kind of wishing I charged him for the hotel room for one night as well. Oh well. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's have another story from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from Isla321, who says, "Am I the arsehole for calling my coworker a nosy bitch after she kept insisting to know my husband's salary? My husband and I have, both 33, have been together since college. Over the years, he's had quite the career trajectory. He's a quant PM and makes 10 times what I make, and I make a good salary, lol. As we've grown wealthier, I've learned that people become nosier. Friends, acquaintances, relatives, you name it. In the beginning, I would entertain the nosy questions, but since I turned 30, I've adopted a take no shit attitude. When people ask me how much he makes, I no longer say anything. I've learned the hard way that giving an exact number can have bad consequences. My coworker, 25, is new, and she already has quite the reputation. Very chatty, catty, gossipy, you get the gist. You can just tell she craves wealth and status. She wears a bunch of flashy designer items and is always asking the ladies around the office which of the men are single. Last Friday, our office hosted an afternoon happy hour. She approached and asked me how me and my husband's recent vacation to Europe went. I told her it went well and briefly summarized what we did. Then the conversation went something like this. She said, "So, what does your husband do?" I said he works in finance. She said, "Oh wow, he must make a ton then, to be taking you on all these lavish vacations. Hope you don't mind me asking, how much does he make in a year?" OP said, "Yes, we're very lucky that he makes a good salary," with a polite smile. She said, "Oh come on, I won't tell anyone. How much does he rake in a year? Millions?" I gave an awkward chuckle and I said, "I'd rather not say, but it's up there." She said, "What? He doesn't allow you to give an exact number or something?" Now I'm getting visibly annoyed and I said, "No, I just prefer not to say." She then laughs in my face and says, "You think the stuck-up one would be the one with the money, not the one without." And I said, "You should learn how to take no for an answer and when to quit being a nosy bitch. It's a valuable lesson." Then I smiled at her and walked away. Later on, I had a few co-workers reach out to me and say that she was crying and left early and that I should apologize for calling her a rude name. I refused. I told my mum and she said I was too rude to the new girl and she's young and might not fully understand salary talk. I think she's old enough. Husband is fully on my side but said maybe I should fake apologize for the sake of office politics, which I somewhat agree with, but still, am I the arsehole? Now, I'm probably going to get hate for my opinion on this one because in reality, I really want to say not the arsehole. You know, there was enough clues in that conversation for her to stop and, you know, then she gets both barrels. But sitting back and thinking about it and how I would react in a professional work setting, I've been, you know, in a few little confrontations at work before. I just think there's an easier way to deal with it and, you know, you don't have to continue that conversation. And I feel like just calling her a nosy bitch is only going to escalate things. It's only going to create more work drama when you could have went away from this, noted down the conversation and dealt with it in a more professional way. Again, I got a feeling that people are going to hate on me for that one. And I just reiterate, you know, I think that person was the arsehole completely. But I just think, you know, there's just an easier way to deal with it rather than having more office politics, etc. It just gave me a mini flashback of when I used to work in a warehouse environment, used to drive a forklift, and you know, one of the directors wanted me to offload something. I was in the middle of another job that I had to get done ASAP. He started raising his voice and talking to me in a real disrespectful way. It's not quite the same as this situation, obviously, because this person was being nosy, but this person was just being really rude and obnoxious. The director that was, and I just simply said that I'm not going to talk to you where you're talking to me in this way. I walked back to my manager and said, you know, I've got this director talking to me in this particular way. Can you deal with him, please? Manager dealt with it. Job done. Later received an email apology, don't know why he couldn't do it face to face, that he was just under a bit of pressure, etc, etc. And everything was cushy after that. And I know people would love it if I just said, you know, fuck off mate, I got stuff to do. But it would have escalated things further, so what was the point? Says, I know women like her, the type to find out his millions and then start sleazing all over your husband. Manufacturer No says, not the arsehole, reported to HR. She's kind of low-key tried to get to know his salary so she can hang on him and be his girlfriend. Rap2 Right says, not the arsehole, but I have always found why'd you ask is more effective than vague answers to unacceptable personal questions. If that fails to end it, still don't give any answers. That's not something I discuss outside my family and my tax guy. And one final comment from Gimmerstick who says, everyone sucks here. I don't think I need to go into why she's an arsehole. You should be able to walk away from someone at a work event without calling them a bitch. There are certainly situations that might warrant it, but she didn't assault you or steal something or otherwise act beyond the pale, and you can justify losing control. Just walk away. Don't put your co-workers in a position where they have to debate justifying you/anyone calling someone a bitch. The workplace isn't somewhere to put someone in their place. It's where you de-escalate and then bring it up to the appropriate people. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Do you think OP's response was warranted or not? Let us know your thoughts. And just a huge thank you for spending your time with me today, for getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time is always absolutely incredible. Please don't forget to show me what you're up to whilst you're listening to these stories, watching these videos, however you get involved. I absolutely love to see it over on Twitter at @MarkNarrations. Love to see it. Thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.